Hi, good morning. Welcome to part 2 of the Tarot de Marseille. And what we're doing is we're looking at predicting your future, which is actually they used with when the book was started. They actually used the Spanish tarot, but when I picked up the book from the second-hand bookshop, it didn't have the tarot deck with it, so I'm using it with the Tarot de Marseille. I have ordered a Spanish tarot, but it's very similar in the imagery, so it's working really well. And understanding a little bit of information in regards to this particular deck. Okay, so what I'm doing is sort of looking a little bit at what the book says, but also coming in with my own thoughts and opinions, and you can decide which path resonates with you more. It's totally up to you. This is about keeping it as simple as possible. So what we're doing is working with card number 3 now, which is the Empress. Okay, so the Empress is, when you look at this, the book talks about security, pleasure and harmony. For me, the Empress is also a card of fertility or motherhood. But this is sort of seems very concerned with security, pleasure and harmony. So it's talking about, am I being sensible where money is concerned? Is money too important to me? Should I get out more? Am I overeating? Am I overweight? Am I as forthcoming as I should be towards my partner? Or am I being possessive or even jealous? Or should I try to improve my sex life? Well, when I'm doing a reading for people, I find those sort of things don't come up with this card, because I'm thinking of this more about motherhood, fertility, abundance, but not necessarily money-wise. It's interesting how this is talking more about being on in a financial position. So it's interesting how the books sort of, I suppose, traditionally thought of this card here as the Empress encourages you to enjoy material comfort and sexual fulfillment, but to avoid overindulgence. Interesting. But I presume as a Empress or as a Queen or in that position, that role, I suppose traditionally that was thought of as being very money orientated, you know, being very with riches. Talks about, she says that your financial position will improve, but tells you to be circumspect and do everything you can to increase your money in a safe way. She never encourages risk-taking. Under her influence, business partnerships will flourish. Harmony in your life will increase at this time, and wish it will come emotionally security. If you're feeling ready to start a family, she indicates that now would be a good time to do so, for she has some bearing on procreation. So yeah, there is that sense of fertility in there, but it doesn't really, for me it's quite strong, but for the book it doesn't really focus on that. Focuses more on money abundance, but I think of it more as a child-like mother. And the other card we have, of course, is the 13. Card number 13 is death, and it talks about change and new beginnings. And the questions asked, am I clinging to the past? Am I carefully planning my next move? How financially secure can I make myself? With this in view, should I work harder? Am I like the ostrich burying my head in the sand? Am I pretending to be unconcerned about the future, when in reality I am fearful of taking action? So quite interesting for the death card. Okay, for me, death is, of course, is transformation and changes, coming out of the dark, coming out of the light, being in, maybe you're finding yourself in a dark space. I find the death card can talk about a very dark space for someone at this time. So, quite interesting. And here we have threes. Threes talk about realization. Okay, so it's about realizing something. And you know about the Pentacles being prosperity, hard work, financial progress, and practical concerns. So it could be talking about money or health. Okay, your prosperity, financial gains, or financial progress. So this is about realization. Realizing. Okay, you're realizing that the finances are coming into fruition, maybe. For me, threes are very much about expansion and growth, but also about a sense of trials going on. So it's interesting. So swords, remember, is about your mental activity, truth, tact, and fairness. So it's the realization of the truth, maybe. Three of Swords could be the realization of the truth. Keeping it simple. 3, realization of your intuition coming into fruition. Realization that the emotions that you're feeling are real. Or realization of the fantasy that you're having at this time. Okay, 3 of Wands is a realization of your achievement, realization of the challenge that's happening at this time, realization of the adventure or the action. Realization. So that's taking it from the book. Okay, so you've looked at what the book means. Okay, let's take a moment, take a breath. Now let's look at what I have been working with personally. So you've got that choice in how you decide to work with the card. I don't want to, you've got to decide what you feel comfortable when you work with a card. What does a card actually mean to you? For me, I find when I'm doing a reading for someone, the Empress comes up as fertility, abundance, bounty, seeing the beauty within, taking care of oneself. Maybe you're running around like a headless chick and you need to take care of yourself on some level as well. That could be really important. Death to me is all about transformation through ending. So things have ended, things have feel like they've felt complete, and maybe it's time to move through the transformation, the changes that's going to allow you to walk into a new light, have a sense of renewal or rebirthing of oneself. Maybe you're cutting away the old stuff, you're letting go, you're surrendering to the moment. All those things come into play for me when I'm thinking about the Death card. Now, number wise, I think of 3 as expansion and growth or trials. So it could be about the birth, but taking the birth into something. I find the birth is more emotional, maybe. Could be a sense of being practical. You know, it's a birth of the finances as well. A sense of rebirthing. Birth. It's more of a birth than a rebirthing to me. So definitely feel like things are being birthed or expanded, grown into something new. You know, that's what I feel like with the 3s. Okay, so you got the birth of moving into or expanding into new finances, or maybe your health is expanding some way. I don't know whether that's expanding into something bad or something good. That's totally depending on the surrounding cards. I really just want to keep it really simple. I wanted you to go and think about what resonates for you. Write down your own thoughts about what I've said, what resonates, what doesn't. And that's a-okay. It's whatever suits you. And that's what I want to think about. So I'm just sort of giving you some quick keywords, and I want you to sort of start expanding from there. So now we're going to look deeper at the 4. So we're going to look at the Emperor and Temperance. Oh, I hate it when this video does this. I'm on my screen. I really should set it longer, shouldn't I? Oops. Should set the video longer. Okay, so we've got the Emperor and Temperance, and we've got the 4s of each suit coming through. So let's have a look at what the 4s are. Let's have a look and see what the Emperor is to start with. The Emperor to start with, so let's look at the keywords. The keywords are action, energy and assertiveness. So how would you do that in a reading? Maybe it comes up and you're going, oh, you need to take action for something, or there's a new sense of energy within oneself. Maybe you're finding this person is assertive. For me, this is about a boss or a leader being in control of one's life. Maybe they're a boss in a job or in a career. Maybe they are someone who's in a leadership role of some sort. Okay, so let's look at Temperance. Temperance's keywords are moderation, stability and diligence. See, moderation is a big thing for me, I find, comes up quite a lot when it's reminding people not to be in excess of something, or not be closed off if they're blending a little bit of this and blending a little bit of that, and trying to come up with who they truly are as an individual. And it could be about saying, look, I'm being so excessive in what's going on and my actions, I need to bring it back a little bit and become a bit more in moderation so I can have the transformations or the changes that I actually need in my life. I can, depending on what the deck is and how the images are, can talk about being in being a thoughtful and caring, motherly and comforting energy. But I feel it's a very gentle energy. I feel like it's very much about blending. Could be about something about being something blended in some way. So interesting. So let's look at what 4s are. 4s talk about obstacles. Now I struggle with 4s as being an obstacle, because I feel 4s are more about stability and foundations. So I struggle with it a little bit. So maybe it's talking about instability, but for me 4s are more about foundations. So I stick to more about foundations and stability within 4s. Okay, so it's stability within your health and finances, stability within your intuition, into your thoughts, perspectives, perceptions, also stability in the way that you communicate. Maybe you're building new foundations with some plans going on, okay, or in the way that you communicate is creating foundations for a new relationship or a new idea, a new plan, something going on there. So remember, stability and foundations, keeping it really simple. So foundations and stability within your own health. Maybe you have stability or foundations in regards to a dream being put into action. Maybe it's stability or dreams within your, or stability or foundations within your emotions. Love, relationship, maybe it's a relationship at the moment, has stability and foundations. Stability and foundations within a sexual energy. Ambition, creative project, having stability or foundations. So keeping it really simple is so important, just when you're doing the numerology with the suits. For me, 3s are expansion, growth, birth in some way. 4s, stability and foundations. Okay, so that's it for HeKatesXing for video number 2, using the book Predicting Your Future. Don't forget to subscribe, like the video. Don't forget to ring the notification bell so a notification will come through when I upload a new video or a new video becomes live. Also too, don't forget you can donate if you want a reading. If you want a reading on my lives, go for it. or you will, if you want a private reading, please don't forget to check out my blog, Unseen Alley. They all have prices for specific readings. Otherwise, if you catch one of my lives and donate through there, you'll be moved to the front. Otherwise, it's just free readings with 2 cards, and I'm doing New Zealand natural. Oh no, I don't know what decks I will be using for my next live by the time this video is released. Anyway, take care and blessed be. Thank you for being with me, HeKatesXing, and hope you continue with this series.